Mic's on, please.
Good afternoon. It's 4:30 on the 10th of March, 2025. I'd like to call this regular workshop for the town of Grand Lake to order. We have Sarah Weeks helping us tonight. So let us know if we're doing something wrong, Sarah. As you can see, all the trustees except for Mike Arnston are here currently. We will address that at the meeting, but I believe he'll be here. And let's roll call. Yeah. Where are we at? Conflicts of interest. Thank you. God. Sarah, will you please ask the trustees for any conflicts of interest?
Trustee Arnston is not here. Trustee Cassell.
No conflicts?
Trustee Miller.
No conflicts.
Trustee Stoner.
No conflicts.
Mayor Bergquist.
I have none.
Mayor Pro Tem Philbin, sorry.
None to report.
Items for discussion today on the workshop agenda, we have a staff and trustee volunteer discussion, and I will hand this to Manager Kudra.
Well, thank you very much. We have openings for volunteer positions, and we have come about this in the past. Where's Ms. Carol? Is it in the back of this envelope? The list of organizations that we need to have volunteers for? It used to be in the back of the manager's folder.
No.
Is it different than this list?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Is it different than the?
She provided a events list, but I'm not sure what
Yep.
you're referring.
The
Memorial Day.
Those are town ran events.
Those are town run events. What we are talking about are volunteers for things like Northwest Cog, QQ.
Okay. Oh, that list. No, I don't have it handy with me. I didn't know we were discussing that tonight. I thought we were just discussing as far as events were concerned.
Well, then I'll turn it over to Sarah. What do we need because we were on two different pages.
Yes, this is for board and staff participation in town ran events.
Is this what we were supposed to be discussing?
We're going to talk about it now.
So this is just to go over staff and board of trustees participation and volunteering for events. Sometimes it proves difficult to get volunteers for these events, and a lot of the time it's me and Elena running town events. We do get volunteers with the 8th grade middle school class. Sometimes their parents don't always volunteer, but then we have more show up. So it's hard when you're planning an event and you don't know what you have until you do the event. So just a little bit of background. Volunteering not only benefits the community, but also enhances our organization's reputation and encourages employee camaraderie. Participation in events allows staff to connect with one another outside of the usual work environment and promotes a culture of collaboration and support. Importance of volunteering, I think people are aware of that, but just to go over it, would be community impact. Volunteering provides essential support to our community and the town's initiatives. It helps team building, working together on community projects, strengthens relationships among staff members. Skill development, employees can develop new skills and gain insights that are transferable to their roles. Employee engagement, volunteering can increase an employee's engagement with other team members and departments and build team morale. Provides flexible scheduling, allows for staff to adjust their schedules to accommodate volunteer hours. Recognition, I would like to create some sort of a program because I think it will kind of help people be willing to volunteer. They're acknowledged and communications and consider some sort of award program for outstanding contribution. So my proposal is that each town staff member and trustee sign up to volunteer for at least one town grant event a year. This would provide roughly 4 volunteers per event and would greatly help event staff. For specifically the team members, should overtime be approved, the staff member would clock in for the duration of the hours they are assisting with the event, but following normal requirements such as clocking out for a lunch break. Should overtime not be approved by their managers should then schedule a different day off within the work week. For trustees, this would obviously be time that was volunteered. And cleanup day and Arbor Day, I assume everybody would be, I'm not sure that everybody volunteers anyway, so I would propose that that be mandatory day for all town staff to participate in addition to the one event they're signing for per year. The town-specific grant events are Winter Carnival, Town Cleanup / Arbor Day, the Memorial Day Celebration, Ghost and Gourds Gathering, and the annual tree lighting. The other event that's a bigger event that we also participate in is Buffalo Days. That is ran by the chamber. I would say it'd be great. We'll put that on the list to have volunteers for.
Sarah, can you do that one more time? Winter Carnival, Ghost and Gourds.
Winter Carnival, Town Cleanup and Arbor Day,
Oh, okay, thank you.
and then Memorial Day, Ghost and Gourds Gathering, and then our annual tree lighting.
Thank you. All right, my turn. Trustees, do you want to talk about this?
Volunteering. Memorial Day.
That was easy. So tell me really quickly though, so you're saying you for sure want us on the town cleanup, which I like that. I think that more that are out there, the better. And when you were explaining the employees and the staff, if they can't get overtime, then they'll get a day off during the week to make that. Okay, I just wanted to be clear.
Is that like exempt, non-exempt employees, overtime situations, salary, is that a situation that they wouldn't get it?
No.
Like, who is not eligible for overtime?
Anyone that's salary is not eligible for overtime, so pretty much public works.
So that's it, right? Just salary.
There's comfortable, yeah. Yeah, since we're here,
Yeah.
if you guys want to fill in our little schedule here, get your name on the list, we'd appreciate it.
Well, I'd like to say too, if once we know who's signed up for what, things always happen. And if you sign up for one event and you can't be there, I think it's important to find somebody else that can, in your space and then you make up for theirs or another one. And if you're in town, and in fact, I should speak to this really quickly. I should have some logos by the end of the week, hopefully. We're trying to do some new fun logos for town jackets. And then you would have Mayor Pro Tem on your jacket and the logo and say trustee. And then that way, when you go to an event and you're in the working volunteering manner, you would wear your jacket or vest or whatever we decide. And then when you're there socially, you don't.
Ghosts and gourds.
Cross the boards, okay.
Like that event.
And would you guys mind kind of running down each event? And I'm wondering, is this like front end stuff that we'll be doing leading up to the event? Or are you guys strictly just talking day of? Day of.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll handle all the background stuff. Pretty much we just need you guys to come and handle whatever activity you guys are assigned for that day.
So let's talk about like Winter Carnival. There wouldn't be anything the day before really to like prep that Public Works would take care of that.
Yeah, Public Works pretty much does all that. I mean, it would be nice to have maybe a couple of you guys at the volunteer dinner, show face there.
Yeah.
The
Or
night
a day
before.
after tear down people.
Usually, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, no, the tear down is usually done the day of. So really, that's not too bad. It's mostly just like the activities and stuff around town. Like for next year, for example, we wanna make teapot curling way bigger. And talking to who is it, Rocky Mountain Folk School? They have an event that they're wanting to bring into town, and we're wanting to bring, more attention down to the lake and whatnot. We kind of kicked around the idea, I don't know if you guys have seen, like hungry hippos, on ice. When you're laying on a tube on your belly and you push them out there and they have a laundry basket, they grab the balls and you.
And you
The
pull back
video
the rope.
that I sent you.
Yes. So we're wanting to make it bigger by the lake, so that means we're gonna have to have more volunteers and whatnot, but the teapot curling is just such a huge event and has become such a big thing. I think we really need to market that better for next year, because that activity goes until literally we pull those teapots off the ice. People love that. And that's a special Grand Lake.
Unique.
Yeah.
It's a whole unique Grand Lake game. So, and I think we need to make that a little bit bigger than what it is.
I remember it used to be a hoop. People would get really into it. I
Yeah.
mean, they were ironing the bottom of their teapots to get the wax on there. It was
If we
impressive.
would left it out here, it would have gone way past 4. The day of.
Elena, tell them the story about the teapots, because we didn't know this.
Yes, found this out this year. So I was talking to Susie Mackey, and we were out here actually watching, and I asked her, I said, this is like, I've never even heard of this until I came to Grand Lake. And she says, well, it's because it's specifically special to Grand Lake. I said, well, how did it come about? She goes, and it's like every story around here. Well, we were all sitting at Sagebrush having cocktails. And I guess they were trying to figure out what to throw across the ice to make this happen, and someone threw out tea kettles. So she went down to all the thrift stores down in Denver and went and bought as many tea kettles as she could. But since they weren't heavy enough, they poured cement in them. And then eventually they started getting super beat up, and I can't remember who it was, but someone came along and ended up buying the whole new actual kettle set that we have now, the cast iron. So yeah, that's how we got it.
Like it.
That's one of those things that we should probably, within the event, make that like a side story and document it, because I would hate for those like little
Yeah, there's
unique things and then the stories of how they originated get lost.
for sure.
But there's a lot of good history and stories and personal Grand Lake things that just are word of mouth.
Yes.
That's one of the things that I love that you said that. I'm going to add to it a little bit. And I didn't do a very good job this weekend, and I couldn't get to Denver, and I got the photographs too late, but we had all those photographs of the original ski joring. And if we have events that, we have old photographs or there's an old story and we can plan far enough ahead, I'd like to see where we do a bulletin board or something that, is on plexiglass. We can use it every year, but make it to where it can kind of withstand the elements for the day or whatever it is, and have signs at events or photographs of an event too.
We were super bummed because Susie said that initially there was like a winter carnival Bible. And from the very beginning up until right before, what was it, Shadow? But yeah, took over it. I think she gave it to Scott Merchant when he was doing it, and then the whole book just went MIA. So
Has
that
anybody
history and
tried to
everything
reach
is
out to
down.
him?
We've tried numerous times. Yeah. So maybe one day it'll randomly show up, but I would like to have something like that for each event that we do. So, keeping the history of all, just like you were saying.
Maybe as we think of it, and like Susie Mackey and anyone else, just make sure they're collecting photos if they have them, and then documenting this, and just get it to the historicals. At least get it on the website, get it in a central location where like everything is housed, whether it's events or other stories and things like that. It's just give it to someone who's gonna take care of that information,
Definitely.
because they're already doing it.
Maybe we can do an awards thing at the end of the day where trustees could come and it becomes kind of a thing. And that's where we can talk on those kind of pieces, or sometimes it's hard to keep people throughout the whole day. So maybe at the end, maybe that's a good volunteer opportunity for you trustees is make sure you're there at the end of teapot curling, or you're there at the end of the bed sled races, that, you know, you are participating in that event closure, the awards and that piece that, that makes it, you just have to show up for the pictures and everybody knows you're there.
Well, it's something that's so little but also kind of big too, is like when we have KFFR come up here, you know, they're up here for us. And they usually call one of us to set up a whole itinerary for the day, you know, who can we speak with about this, or, you know, whatever's going on. So it'd be really cool to have you guys be able to participate in those type of deals as well.
And get it to the chamber for promotion, because that's good shareable, engageable content for these events, rather than just saying, come to Winter Carnival and have the aerial shots of winter. It gets kind of static at this point, and those
Right.
cool, interesting stories are things that people want to engage in sharing. So.
Which kind of goes back to spring cleanup, is y'all don't have to be out there every minute. Michael's out there every year for the last several years, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a great opportunity because that's when we're trying to get the community to participate. And if they see the trustees there grabbing those bags, you take and walk a block with one or two people that aren't part of the board, it's amazing what they share with you. And it's real positive. So those are the kind of things that when we're asking for your volunteerism, you know, if you can all be there, the same thing happens on July 5th. And we had talked about that one's even more so. Fact of the matter is, Public Works has been doing such a good job. By the time 8 o'clock comes, there's very little left to pick up. But the tradition in this town has been that the Board of Trustees are there with bags in hand, reminding everybody that we're all in when the tourists come and overrun us. And the 4th is one of those days when they do that.
I think last year we had right around 15 volunteers for Arbor Day, or cleanup day. This year, we're getting new vests, because those ones were kind of grody, getting there, falling apart. And then we're also getting new trash grabbers. We were wanting to do maybe some fun volunteer shirts for whoever wants to participate. And then providing like little things of hand sanitizer with our Grand Lake logo on it. Like that. Little incidents go a long way. Well, it was nice because last year I had a gentleman come up to me, and I guess he had his own business, and during COVID, he purchased a ton of the little hand sanitizers as well as the refill bottles, the big ones. And he said he wasn't using them, so he donated all of them to us.
Well, that's
So
nice.
that's super nice of him.
That's what I was gonna say. I've got a case or two.
I got a case of 2 gallons, yeah.
There was a time you had to have some stock of that.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely July 5th is a important one.
So trustee Arnston, just before you got here, we were going over this list and discussing each of us picking one event that we would like to commit to. And then obviously, if someone's sick or needs a place filled, we can help with that. And if you're in town and you want to participate as a trustee, always do that. And I don't know, while I was stepped out for a minute, did everybody pick one?
Nope, we have one for Memorial Day and one for Ghosts and Gourds.
Well, I will take tree lighting since I
Winter Carnival.
and ski joy. I'll do two.
And we'll send out this list as we get closer and keep you guys updated on who's volunteering for what.
Well, I've always done the town cleanup and I think we all should.
Yeah.
And we're usually here for most of those anyways.
And then as far as the community picnic, whoever can be there, obviously this year, the more the merrier. Yeah. That one's popped in my head.
Which one? Sorry.
The community picnic. Just
Okay.
forgot to put it on the list. Yeah, obviously the more the merrier there too.
Other events.
It's been a lot.
We should.
Trustee Schroner, would you like to step up for one particular one?
I did,
You did, which one did you choose?
Ghosts and Gordons.
Perfect.
What would the Ghosts and Gourds volunteer position entail?
Dunk tank.
Yep.
Amazing.
No,
Fourth
that's
Saturday of October, okay.
Now, I did get all my kids to do the tank this year and they had a
Yeah,
blast.
thank God, because poor
This is
Steve
it?
was in there
Uh-huh.
freezing.
No, for Buffalo Days.
Okay, yeah, that
Yeah.
was reasonable.
So that one we would probably need
Yeah.
a few people for
Heater, I think.
There you go.
I mean, that's not a bad idea.
No, it's not.
Be great hard to hook up, I don't think.
Filled it with beer.
Sitting above the steam, just
Thought I would.
basking in it,
Looking in
getting
early.
frozen.
Anything would be better. I guess it's pretty cool.
Get a metal one and put a fire under them.
The boys were only about able to do 3 dunks and then they were too cold. So that'd be a great idea.
Steve got like probably hundreds.
I did. Not anymore.
What was
And
the-
Mayor Berquist is not doing that. Just in case anybody.
Just for the record.
Don't get any crazy ideas, guys.
No, Ghost and
Talk.
Gourds
We'll
will
talk.
probably be, the activities in the pavilion or the activities outside, probably definitely set up on that one, maybe helping us get pumpkins out, just because that was a little
Grid.
hard this year. The fire department did help us a little bit, but they had to leave for something that day early, so we were rolling pumpkins.
Yeah, what were you doing?
I wasn't at work that day. But the year prior, we put out
Yeah, all.
every single pumpkin they had and
All the pumpkins?
helped with everything else. Yeah. this year
300
they
pumpkins,
failed.
yeah. Tons and tons of
And is the Memorial Day one, any portion of it has to do with the parade or just more at the
Yes, the
celebration?
parade. So this year I would like to possibly put together some type of float for you guys to ride in on and, you know, get a little bit more involved in those type of town events. And I don't know what yet, but we'll come up with something.
Well, I just use this as a segue. I heard so much this weekend and especially last night at the awards. And this announcer announced it, actually saying how great has it to see people from the community out here, but they made a deal out of having a mayor present at these ski journeys, which I was really surprised at. I mean, why wouldn't you want to do that for your town? But that very seldom that they see government officials, you know, at these events and meeting and greeting and walking around, and they were very thankful. And so I think that says a lot about our community
Mhm.
where, you know, I would never suggest you walk around with a beer in your hand and your vest on that says mayor. But if you're willing to walk around with your trustee jacket or hat or whatever we decide to do, you know, that shows that we're out there. And they may not know you, but they know there's a trustee out there. And I think that in general, for all of our events moving forward should just be,
And we were all there.
Yeah,
we were all
One time or
there.
another.
we should
Sure.
do cowboy hats. Trust me. Government cowboys.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
We could take a field trip down to
Get fitted.
Fitted for hats.
So
That's the Parker can come do it.
he's the try.
Yeah,
Well, we'll look into,
as long as we get the Grand Lake brand.
yeah,
Yeah, that'd be a cool.
That'd be really cool. Right.
the one that I'm liking would be cool on a brand.
You need more
Right.
hats?
Nice.
But no, I don't need any more cowboy hats, but if it's for town, absolutely.
Town's forking over, then.
Okay, so did everybody commit to at least one?
I
Trustee.
haven't. I will not be here for Memorial Day this year.
I'm Memorial Day, you haven't.
Good. I'm out.
They need 4 volunteers per event.
That
Uh,
is town staff.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah, so plenty of rollover is what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Don't you usually do tree lighting anyway? You brought Santa in last year.
That counts.
I've never been to a tree lighting.
But you need a fat Santa.
Wife's
this year.
family
You
have to
is
get it
over
in
it is their Christmas on Friday.
You can let me
Days that,
know.
I'm working.
Yeah, we'll compile a list and I'll have Sarah send that out and
Well, the
yeah.
day after.
You know, guys know your schedules a little better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in for, obviously. for
And you should
Arbor
remind
Day,
us all about
For what?
clean
Arbor
Arbor
Day.
Day.
Everybody.
Yeah, there's no options on that one. Right?
I could swing either the last ones or even. Winter Carnival.
I can do Memorial Day.
Mhm.
Is there gonna be a reminder email,
Oh, yeah.
like a week in advance saying this is the time you should be here and there and cool?
Yep, if we need help on our float, we'll let you know.
Yeah, that would be great. I wish I can think of a truck that would be cool to have.
Well, you said.
That
you were
stays in
working,
town.
So.
A green one?
A green one. That'd be fun.
1956 US Forest Service truck, perhaps?
Yes.
That's been carefully restored
Oh,
by a local
beautiful.
business owner, perhaps?
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Perhaps.
Is it the
Let-
that Forest Service truck? Okay.
Sale.
As long as he's in his tractor
Tom's old
Wait, is
truck.
that the old fifties truck that's in
Yeah.
town?
and the
Yeah.
parades.
I want that thing.
Oh,
It's
yes,
for
it's
sale. You may
I
have it.
know it's for sale.
Oh, okay.
And then you could be the one that would drive it in all the town parades as a trustee.
I got to
All
wear
of
my
them.
overalls.
Yep.
Is it a three on the tree?
Sold.
Done.
You ever drive a three on a tree?
We need to start a GoFundMe.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
I've seen very few.
It doesn't matter the transmission, just get me the money. I'll learn how to drive, right?
I can.
Oh, manual?
Kid.
Mhm.
That.
All right.
We're good.
I'm sure she can too. Okay, well, trustee Arnston, everyone else, I'll trust that.
Put me
when-
down. Currently, I'm not working for Winter Carnival. Or. The tree lighting. The other ones I'm either out of town.
Winter Carnival is.
Great. If you guys could send us an email, just letting us know what we picked as of today and
Well, we've
make sure
picked it.
we've committed, put it in our calendars. And we'll move on to,
Before we do.
yes.
This has been noodling in my head because I know volunteering is something we're really trying to get more people involved in. Have we thought about, is this an option to have a high school intern class that could help out with town events and then also be part of these events as volunteers? We did it in my town.
Yeah. So I always send an email over to the high school and the middle school because they both need hours. And then whoever can come, they end up contacting us and getting on the list.
So we do get some high school kiddos.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they gotta get their community service hours, so.
40 hours.
Yes, they do.
Yes,
Let's
they do.
double their.
I mean, we use them for like face painting and everything for the ghost and boards this last year. They were great.
Yeah.
They were really good.
Awesome.
Yes.
Sarah and Elena have also started a volunteer list. So people through this ski and touring event weekend who we had help with everything and anything are gonna go, their names are gonna go on the list. So we're kind of trying to generate one that I'd like to keep in mind too, like the radio station, you know, they're able, if we're donating money and paying them for something, they're able to give us volunteers. And I think it's a good sharing for us to do that as well, keeping some of that in mind.
Yeah, is it the county that started the big list, the big volunteer list?
Like
I
court
believe
ordered
so.
community service hours too.
There's a big list going now.
The ones we get
A
in
Google
Clark.
Doc. For all the towns
Okay,
that we put all our events, like.
I mean, why not?
great.
No.
So wrong with that?
We had them in the trail groomers and it was always a mess. You have to supervise them.
It's more work than volunteer.
Yeah.
Maybe they have to pass,
Wait.
no.
So let's move on to this
The other,
trustee committee.
Other list.
before that too much, just kind of with like events in general, especially if someone applies for like a new event, I kind of would like to have like a trustee discussion on how everything went. You know, this weekend would be a good example. We don't have to talk about it now, but just some, you know, even when
Like a debrief.
a debrief, like, oh, well, next year we should do this, or because we as trustees rarely, unless we talk to Elena or Steve or someone directly about it, you know, have recommendations for next year that could be presented or to the event organizer themselves or whatever that case may be.
Okay. So,
This is a good one to start with, and
Mhm.
Steve and Delphine and I spoke this afternoon about it. 2 weeks workshop,
2 weeks workshop.
debrief.
Yeah. Yeah.
This week.
Yeah, fine with me.
I think this was a good one to start with, but I also think there's going to be a lot. It's going to change with next year's, and so
Mhm.
being on top of this one is going to be a big deal.
And that's also one of the things to understand with the debrief is that as staff and as the organizers, we're looking for your input and possible solutions to some of those. But especially in the case of our plug-in events, we have to remember that we're providing them suggestions and also how to be able to manage our partnership best. And with Matt has been heavily involved in this particular event. And that's another piece that we want to talk about when we talk about debriefs is that in some of the events where either the town or people that are part of the town are involved, we want to make sure that that's a good positive interaction as well. So this
The
is,
way we interact, the government town interacts with the event as
Yep.
well. Correct. Yeah.
yeah, because the five we talked about, the town events were the customer. But then when we do bring in, whether it's the Corvette show is another good example of one that's coming in, Constitution Week, we absolutely, these are the kind of events that we want coming back year after year. And we want to make sure that we understand how the town was perceived exactly and how they can do better for us. For instance, the restaurants did great. We need to get more people to stay weekends. Other than the people that were part of the organization, there wasn't a lot of tourism driven overnights, is what we found, that people that were here that just knew about Grand Lake Ski Tour. That's one of the first seconds and how we do that. A lot of visitors didn't come up with spending money for stuff. They came up with food stuff, but they came to watch the horses. At least that's what I heard several parents saying. It's like, no, you're not going shopping today. We're here to see the horses. And I think that's a part of our learning how we can grow that better. Everybody that was open did really, really well. And don't get that wrong. But I think we can do better and maybe entice more people to be open next year.
I have some ideas with that. I'm glad you said that. Okay. Anyone else have any comments about events or volunteering? Move on.
At last Wednesday's planning commission meeting, the mayor pro tem announced that that was his last meeting. As a result, one of you have to step up. I'll let the mayor pro tem coerce you.
I want to say first
No,
that thank you for doing it and stepping up. And you were really great with the planning commission. You did a great job of going and really relaying the information back to us. And a lot of people in the community saw that the night that Jim was here, and a lot of people gave you compliments. So I want to pass that along. Right now you can coerce.
She's learning.
No, it was a great learning lesson and trial. I wouldn't call it trial. But it, you know, I learned a lot. Let me dive in the code a little bit deeper. With small side conversations, Trustee Miller showed interest in stepping into that position. Some commissioners heard that, like to hear that. I believe Steve has heard it. I like that. So provided your exception, I would recommend.
Well, thank you. I would be very interested. I think I have a good background to match.
I nominate Bob Miller.
Thank you.
Quickly, before somebody points at you.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Please pull the board.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Do we?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then we'd like to,
Brian's correct. That's okay.
Still need to pull the board to
Board, the whole time.
to approve the appointment.
Okay.
Okay.
The majority needs to approve it.
Trustee Cassell,
Aye.
trustee Arnston,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Soban. Oh, sorry. Trustee Shoner,
Hi.
No, no, no.
trustee Miller,
Hi.
Mayor Pro Tem Soban,
Aye.
Mayor Berquist.
hi. Thank you, Sarah. We thank you
Thank
for
you.
stepping up and thank you for taking the role and I think you'll be great at it. We'll be happy to have you there.
Be sure to tell them that if they have anything to tell you to come and talk on the mic rather than giving you their soapbox at the meeting. I want everyone to hear it, not be the middleman.
Excellent.
The next one is the Grand Lake Area Chamber of Commerce. We have in the past had a liaison position with the Chamber of Commerce. Trustee Strahan was the last one. Baxter was the last representative. It is a non-voting role. We expect the chamber director to come visit us twice a year to talk about events and once a year to talk about finances and then again to talk about budget, so 4 times a year. The chamber does an awful lot of spending of our money on marketing. And I think that it's really important that we understand their strategies and how our value is connected. And I would like to think that a trustee would like to be a participant with the chamber so as to keep us on the inside and watch our dollars being spent.
Well, I was gonna say, I don't know if it's a conflict of interest, but Sarah's already on the board. And that usually doesn't work super well for us evenings wise with kids. I mean, I get a lot of information from there anyways.
How about you just be the middleman and
I could probably do that. I just don't know how that works with essentially being
Let's protect
Debbie
the
part-
family unit first.
part of the.
Well,
I was hoping,
Very interested.
Okay.
And would love to take them.
great, thank you. Would someone
When
like
do
to
they-
nominate?
know that
Thursday evenings, I think,
every Thursday?
Wednesday or Thursday, monthly.
Okay, once a month on Thursday.
I think so.
Who do I ask?
The chamber, I'll ask Kelly tomorrow. She wants to meet.
Can I have somebody make a motion?
Motion to appoint trustee Casso to the Chamber of Commerce Board Liaison.
Have a second?
Second.
Please pull the board.
Trustee Arnston,
Aye.
trustee Cassell,
Aye.
trustee Shoner,
Hi.
trustee Miller,
Hi.
Mayor Pro Tem Soban,
Aye.
Mayor Berquist.
Aye. Thank you.
Congrats.
Excited to see you up there. I think you'll be great at it. You always have great questions when everybody comes in.
I'm gonna skip down to financial trustee, kind of to get the monkey off Mike's back. Still want to be our financial trustee?
Andy, or I can shoot something else.
Anybody want to take his spot?
Feel like there might be a significant amount more work this year than.
You could be correct, to the tune of millions.
It's not our money.
All of our monies, right? The Northwest Council of Governments is established to provide support to governments in the Northwest counties. It's pretty big. It's Route, Jackson, Grand, Summit, Eagle, and I think it even goes into Pitkin. Their meetings are typically virtual. They meet a couple times a year. This is an organization that your role as being our committee liaison is just to understand what are the issues that come before the Northwest Council of Governments, and it keeps us in the loop and it provides a Grand Lake perspective to them. This has not been filled in several years.
Say, virtual meeting a couple times a year.
Yeah.
And we're essentially just relaying info back here.
Yeah.
Did you?
Can try to grab them.
Did I want?
Chambers the third Wednesday. Every month,
Third Wednesday.
4 o'clock.
At the chamber.
At the chamber.
Grand County Water Information Network. Elena, can you help me with this one? I don't think we've had anybody on.
Been a long time. I couldn't find anything since I was here the first time in 2018 for a representative, or maybe it was 2017. It's been a long time.
I've participated with them, and a lot of that is the information about the warnings, what goes out in terms of monitoring and the action plan when we warn people about dangers in the lake of algae or algae blooms, or when we tell people they have to stay out. The monitoring happens on a weekly basis. There's Zoom calls, and I can continue to do that as manager. The CML Planning Commission,
Explain that.
I've not known of anybody that sat on that one for a long,
Again, same exact.
long time. The Legislative Council had somebody, Tom Bruton was a Legislative Council person, and Lisa Jenkins was a Legislative Council representative prior. So we did have representation until 2021 when Tom passed.
What does this role entail?
Legislative Council meets quarterly, it meets 4 times a year, one time in Denver. And it is actually a member of every municipality who is a member of Colorado Municipal League that serves as to ensure that every municipality has a voice in state actions. And that's the conduit for it. So the Legislative Council, the CML Legislative Council puts out recommendations on actions that the state is making in their legislative session. So there is a pool of lobbyists, and the council is what takes the positions, and then the lobbyists are the ones that go and act on those positions. For instance, at the mayor manager's meeting, the executive director, John Stavney of Northwest COG, was there, And there is currently a bill that is put before it's House Bill 129 that regulates the amount of time required by municipalities to respond to permit requests for cellular tower companies. Because the cellular companies have put enough pressure and lobbyists on the state saying that these small local towns take way too long to issue a permit for them to put a tower up in the middle of their town. And that's one that the municipal league is against. And what I found out today, some of you may have noticed, we have a big tower up by the Grand Lake Lodge. It's been about 28 years that that permit was done, and it took this town a long time to issue that permit. There were a lot of questions about the impacts and the effects. Every time they now do maintenance, they don't have to tell us why. Which I think is pretty fascinating, that there ought to be then time limits on permits, and every 5 years you get to come up and tell us what you're doing. So we might take a peek at that. But
Are they actually doing maintenance on that? Cause it seems like everything's getting worse.
I know they took it.
Saw a crane up there this summer.
All three, yeah, all three sections came down and they went back up, and that's what I was curious to find out. What were they doing? And they didn't have to tell us anything because it was maintenance.
They don't have to tell us anything.
They're doing maintenance within the scope of their permit. And Keith Riesberg, the manager at Winter Park, gave me a really interesting smile grimace at that, because he has a lot more towers than one. And yep, they just do what they want. So that's what the legislative council does. It's one trip to Denver that you can expense. And then meetings virtually. It's usually in the spring.
This is different than, well, never mind. I know the answer to that. Sorry. Well, do you have any interest in? Or is this too much of a?
If you say lobbying and travels, stuff like that, it's gonna get, well,
Yeah.
mucky for me.
Okay.
So
I'm more than. Or Jim, whichever.
Do that.
Okay, sounds great.
No more wolves.
I'll work on that. And then I know nothing about the CML Planning Commission. I'll find out more about that. I can't even speak to it at all. The last one that I have that I've added on to the list is the Northwest Transportation Planning Region. They do meet monthly, and that is virtual. The head of our region currently is Brian Cervenek, who's the mayor of Fraser. And they also have a member of their board also. Typically, you'll see those along Highway 40 that are really all the other towns in the county except us that are very active in that region, because that has to do with taking care of Highway 40. And what I've always had concerns about is that if we don't keep our finger in the pie, 34 gets lost. And while we are these are usually 5 and 10 year plans. You know, we're in year 4 and our road is holding up great. But 6 to 8 years from now, I mean, we're already seeing wobbles here coming out of town that just has to do with land movement, because it was smooth as snot a couple years ago. So
I think the towns need to protest the batch plant for this asphalt. I don't think the asphalt that anywhere in the county is getting is good, and we're investing so much money And, you know, we had this issue over by Center Drive where it's falling apart and you can see it's about one dump truck length worth of asphalt. And we had a hard time trying to get it covered and same stuff is happening everywhere. I mean, the county's building new roads and product just isn't there and a huge portion of our budget falls into that. Now in the shared transportation, this is just roads in general, not just public transit or.
This is not, yeah, this is different than the public transit. This is getting roads rebuilt, getting bridges rebuilt. And our region also includes Jackson and Route. And specifically Route County from Craig to Steamboat up to Rabbit Ears. There's an awful lot of dollars in lobbying and pressure to get the dollars into the region there. So that, because they have their own issues going west. And Berthoud is another issue that we'll talk about in my manager's report from the mayor, manager, commissioners meeting, because that continues to be a dramatic issue for everybody in the county right now. Interest in the Northwest Transportation Planning Region.
Said virtual.
Quarterly.
Quarterly. Oh, I said monthly.
He said, it's not a big commitment, 4 meetings a year.
I consider it.
What's it called? NWTPR, Northwest Transportation Planning Region Representative.
Will you send them my information so I can get?
Yep, I'm forwarding you his right now, but we'll put his name on the list.
They reach out to us that we're not participating, or is this more of a?
No, he just reached out and wanted us to be a part of it.
Okay. When you said you wanted your finger in it, I thought maybe this was something that
No,
you
I
thought.
I like hearing about it. John Crone was on this one. And then he also was part of the I-70 coalition, which we can participate in. John was really interested in where and how those dollars were spent. I think it's important for us to make sure that we don't lose our opportunities for dollar, but I don't think it's something that the manager needs to spend time on unless it's an active project and you need me to lobby.
John used to attend Grand Places 2015.
Yep.
That's something that you have interest in, or?
Yeah, I started going and it is, we'll see how the funding goes. The last 2 meetings have been canceled.
I know there's someone else in charge now, so.
But I'll definitely take that on. I think it is important. And that is the area Grand Places 2050 is a coalition of all of the federal lands organizations along with the county and all of the towns. So the goal is to look at everything that is going on. We do recognize that as more and more people start using those lands, what are the possible impacts? And we need to stay a part of what that plan is. Carrying capacity is the one that they always get worried about. And, you know, we certainly don't want to start seeing tickets to get into the national forest. Okay. That covered most of it.
Where would you like to go from here? Anything in particular? Well, exciting news. We're finished with our workshop for the day It's 5:25 and we will resume at 6 o'clock. Meeting adjourned. Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on March 10th, 2025. Thank you for joining us. For those of you that are in the audience, please turn your phones off during this time. I'd like to call this regular meeting for the town of Grand Lake to order. Please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
You're the tough guy.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, to the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
I did.
He was looking right at all of us.
You totally did.
Under announcements, please silence your phone or any other devices. Remember, we are recording any conversation you need to have. Please take it outside. The recordings will be available for review within the next 24 to 48 hours. I have nothing else at this time for announcements. Please roll call the board.
Ready? All over. Okay, or we're doing conflicts of interest?
Yeah.
Okay, trustee Arnson,
No conflicts.
trustee Casso,
No conflict.
trustee Shoner,
No conflicts.
trustee Miller,
No conflicts.
Mayor Pro Tem Sobon,
None.
and Mayor Berquist.
And I have none. At this time, we'll hear from Manager Krudron for his manager's report.
Good evening, everybody. First off, as all of you know, we sprung forward yesterday. If you're not here, that's why. We're seeing more and more spring conditions across town. That means unpredictable melting, heavy snow, freezing pipes, unpredictable travel, and a lot more. I did hear yesterday from the park, and the deterioration of the town trail was pretty immense yesterday. I anticipate that we'll be having an announcement to keep that the trail will close this week. On the trail has stopped allowing their rentals to come back into town. So we probably won't be seeing too many more snowmobile. The marquee is going up. All the stonework is completed and they have finished the top rails. You'll start to see welding done as well as the cables and the animals coming up. We have 3 sponsors of animals that are still available. You can email me at skudron@toglco.com. This past weekend, we saw the first ski tour in Grand Lake in over 75 years. And when I printed this, I wasn't sure what I was going to say, but holy cow. And I can just, first off, to the event organizers, they did everything that was asked of them by the town, and our staff was really, really happy with the way that they communicated and continued to make sure that all of their documentation and everything was necessary for a first-time event. So we're just really, really pleased. Our town staff did an awful lot of work. As a sponsor, Public Works put a lot of hours in, and board will be letting you know what those hours equated to when we're done. At the last Planning Commission meeting, we spent some time doing interpretation of the code and specific items as we wanted to see how the Planning Commission would respond to some items that have come up recently and we expect to see come up again. Coming out of that meeting, one of the things that we recognized is that there is not complete consensus amongst the Planning Commission, and we expect there not to be complete consensus among the board. So what we'll be recommending is that in a mixed plannings and board meeting, One of the things we'll be talking about 2.5 years ago, the board approved a downtown district overlay. And we're going to be using that downtown district overlay to create design standards and an understanding of not only what the planning commission, but also what the board would like to see the future of the downtown to look like. And that way our codes will be able to be written towards that. So everybody has a fair opportunity to build what they'd like to build. Our permit tech, Brian Cracky has begun creating informational facts, FAQs for our common permitting questions. You'll be seeing those at the next workshop. At our bi-monthly mayor, manager, and commissioners meeting today, we had a number of items that were discussed. Some of those that I want to share with you specifically have to do with Berthoud Pass. And over the last 2 weeks, there have been 7 substantial wrecks with fatalities and others. The county remains concerned that the quality and the safety on Berthoud Pass continues to deteriorate. It's important that we continue to put pressure on people at the state. I would like to know the Board of County Commissioners will be meeting tomorrow, and they'll be looking at a draft letter to be sent to the Colorado Department of Transportation and to the governor. It's a very direct, and some mentioned the word harsh when talking about this. I'll be forwarding that to you for your potential signature. So I'd like you to consider how strong of a stance you'd like the town of Grand Lake to take regarding Highway 40 improvements. Another item that made the news recently, so we had a trustee from the town of Granby, is, as many of you know, that the voluntary recycling at the ACE Hardware is losing their volunteer operator. The town of Granby has been scrambling to try to see who might be able to take that over. They have had suggestions of using community service hours, high school people, volunteers. The town manager of Fraser said that when they opened up their recycle facility, that the volunteerism was good for about 6 months and then it ended. So I did keep my mouth quiet to our plans to create our recycling center. We're a long distance away, but as you start looking in the future towards the budget, there will probably be a bigger ask from the county in terms of sustainable grant and what some of those recycling programs are. And I think the board should consider strongly keeping that here in town. Another item that was discussed was the viability of maintaining the county's only senior living center in Kremling. It is a facility that is owned by the county because it was given to the county. It is operated by Middle Park Health. And the deficit for 2025 to operate those 25 beds is $800,000. While that is a large amount of money per person times 25 people, the question really comes is from a societal perspective, does the county say, just won't have one here? It is a challenge. They have tried to sell it. They've tried to give it away. The fact of the matter is Middle Park Health does a wonderful job managing it. And the county understands those costs that are associated with it. Talking with other operators, there needs to be 75 beds for an operator to consider it to be a profitable operation. They threw out a couple numbers that would be anywhere from $25 to $40 million in the cost to build a facility like that, which becomes a burden to the county of only 16,000 people. So you'll probably start to hear more about that, and I'll share that with you as I know. That's what I have.
Thank you, Steve.
Questions?
No, sir.
Okay, at this time, this is a time for unscheduled comments. This time is reserved for members of the public to make a presentation to the board on any items or issues that are not scheduled on the agenda. The board will not discuss or debate these items, nor will the board make any decisions on these items presented at this time. Rather, the board will refer the items to staff for follow-up. If a member wishes to make comments regarding items up for decision by the Board of Trustees on the agenda, time will be allocated at the beginning of each non-quasi judicial item. For items of a quasi judicial nature, time will be allocated during the public hearing conducted for that time. If you'll please notice the clock above, please be mindful of the 3 minutes of time given to each individual for comments. We much appreciate your consideration on this. Who would like to speak first? Please come to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Hello, Board of Trustees.
Hello, Andy. Good to see you.
My name is Andy Thomason. Address is 393 Lake Cove Drive here in Grand Lake. I have some handouts. Can I pass them out? So me and my wife and our friend Katie Nolan are here tonight to try to encourage the town to make a little bit more investment into the center, especially for the weight room. And maybe I'll just read, if that's okay, and you guys can follow along. So on behalf of many gym members, we're requesting the town to reevaluate the current layout of the Grand Lake Rec Center, along with some of its policies and procedures. We believe these requests will greatly improve the experience, not only for locals like ourselves, but also for the high influx of visitors we see every summer and holiday season. We have 5 goals: expanding the Grand Lake Rec Center weight room, budget for additional equipment for the weight room, lowering the age limit to 12 years old with parental supervision and waiver signed, regularly cleaning and care of the weight room and cardio room, and eventually developing a rec center committee who could help in the decision-making and continued improvement of the Grand Lake Gym. So there's pictures on the very back, the last page. The current configuration of the weight room is inadequate and unsafe. I'm not sure any of you have been in there, but it has been broken where there is the leg press machine. There's mere inches between the leg press machine and the bench press machine. People kind of move this out of the way. There was also an injury that you guys probably know about where someone was using the Smith machine and the bar fell over, and I believe it caused a significant finger injury to a patron. So current gym standards recommend at least 2 feet between each machine, with 3 feet being considered optimal. During the summer, there's sometimes up to 12 people. It doesn't seem like a lot, but that's a pretty small weight. And 12 people, I think, really reduces the quality of experience. You ask anyone that works out in the county, some places, some other rec facilities, they say it's dirty, right? I don't think that we want to be known as a rec center that is dirty or unclean or unsafe. So this type of congestion does increase potential for safety issues as well as frustration with other users. The weight room probably has the most usage. I think you can go in there 7 days a week, and out of every room in that facility, the weight room and cardio room are probably the 2 rooms that are used the most. The meeting rooms are great for the town, for HOAs, for the Lions Club, for the trail groomers. We have Aero Care in there, which supports our kids in the summer. That's great. We have the Middle Park in there, which is on Thursdays and Fridays. But again, you cannot find any other room besides the weight room or cardio room that is as utilized as those 2 rooms. So our proposal is to expand the weight room into the cardio room, moving the cardio room into where the yoga room is, and moving the yoga room into one of the 2 conference rooms. The reason why we believe that is the best solution is that the yoga room is not used as often as the cardio and weight room is. And I think that the schedule could be worked out fairly easily with yoga and the other meetings. So anyway, I think there are plenty of gym members. If you say, well, who's going to help do this? We have limited staff. Public Works isn't able to help. I think there are plenty of people that utilize the weight room and cardio room that would be willing to help reconfigure it. Some additional ideas on number 2, page 2. It'd be great to have a squat rack. So right now there is a Smith machine, which is kind of used as a squat rack, but it's not the best setup for it. Maybe Laura or Katie might be able to talk about that if there's questions. We would also like some more like unique dumbbells, 17.5 and 22.5. It doesn't seem like a big difference, but when you're doing failure or weight training to failure, it is a big difference. A T-bar row, hip thrust machine, potentially an additional Smith machine, and a seated calf machine. You know, we understand these are fairly expensive. We're not asking for brand new equipment. We do know that Jody Huddleston does a great job donating equipment, and we very much appreciate that. Recently, there was the cable machine, which broke. I see I'm out of time. I can have my wife or Katie step up if needed. But it broke, and there was a letter, which we believe was fairly snarky, saying that we don't have the $8,000 to repair this. Well, Jake, one of our people that we work out with, bought, installed that new part, and the cable machine is now working. And that was within a matter of probably 2 weeks that we as gym users did that. Number 4, we really believe that the gym is kind of forgotten in cleaning. We know that Lance is there and he does a really great job, but the cardio room and the weight room is, I would say, nearly disgusting at times. There's litter on the floor, there's salt, there's rocks, the mirrors are not cleaned. It should be cleaned more often. We don't think that it is rarely cleaned. Number 5, after much discussion amongst ourselves, we thought it might be a good idea to have a committee of gym members who are also local residents to help the decision making for the gym. As it stands, it does not seem that anyone who works at or in the gym uses it. And it might be beneficial for people who use it regularly to help decide what needs to be done or what other machines may be useful. We regularly are made to feel like we're a nuisance or a pain for making requests, asking for equipment repair, or making suggestions. The hope would be this committee would be to encourage our involvement in a better response to patron requests and ideas. So we appreciate the time that you guys took to listen to me. My name is Andy, my wife Laura, and our friend Katie. And again, on the back there are pictures. This third or the second picture here, it's really hard to see, but that bar up top is again within inches of this machine that really is never used. So
I was just gonna, you guys, we don't have to talk about it. I was just gonna hand out one other thing I printed out, which is just a safety checklist. If you want to pass it, send it around. 4 gyms, by one of our, I'm a personal trainer as well, but by one of our training.
Will you do a favor for me and just state your name and address for the record? That's okay. Thank you.
And my ask, I'll be very quick, but like I said, I am a personal trainer. We have 4 children. They are very interested in going to the gym, and I've been shown the policy very snarkily before that it's only 16 and up. That is really not within the nations, like what the nation is doing. Like all the research shows now that it is beneficial for children to work out with supervision. So my request would be to lower that age limit, assuming there is a waiver signed, and I do believe that children should have to be with an adult or a parent at all times in the gym. I think that's the only acceptable solution for that. But I would like to be able to bring my kids and teach them about lifting. health and exercise.
And we know that the rec center does cost a substantial amount of money just to kind of keep that building alive. And that's why I say that the only two rooms that are used consistently are the cardio and weight room. Those are paid members that use that room typically. We can't say that for all the other spaces in the Grand Lake Center, that those spaces are being paid for, or at least not as consistently as gym memberships. And we all know that the summer, there's a huge influx of people. And I think that, again, if we can make a space that's more open, more welcoming, more clean, I think we would hopefully see an improved of gym passes being sold.
Thank
I
you.
mean, might get people from Granby too. I work at Middle Park as well, and there are lots of people that are, like, the gym in Granby is not great, either, so. It's a great opportunity to attract people.
Thank you very much.
Any questions?
We're not allowed at
Oh,
this time. We're
okay.
just here to listen to
All right.
you and we will pass it along to staff and
Great job on the Skajorni.
thank you for.
And also thank you for the town to have those that live in town and pay taxes to have a reduced fee for the rec center. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Anyone else like to come and speak at this time?
Gothard Lane, 1302 Spruce Drive. I make suggestions to the board. You print an annual report we sent to everybody in town. I know it's on the website, and I've been on there a million times over the last couple of years in dealing with you folks about various things, and I would be looking stuff up. I mean, your audits are 40-some pages long. Your budgets are like 80 pages long. Somebody go blind trying to, read all that stuff. So I'm thinking a one-fold, 4 pages, one-fold, 4 pages. First page, maybe a letter from the mayor, town manager saying, hey, things were good this year. Our revenues went up, or our revenues went down. Our expenditures went up, or our expenditures went down. Or, we did well, and maybe we helped fix the weight room. So get a chance to let the town know what you did with the money, because in looking past years, some things I never really never knew. Can anybody here tell me how much your sales tax revenue has increased since COVID? Anybody give me a ballpark?
It has increased almost double,
Almost what?
almost double
Right, $1 million. $1 million.
from 1.3 to 2.3.
Actually, it's been up to 2.6. 2.6, that's, you were looking at my sheets and everything. 2.6, and your treasurer, who I don't think's here anymore, in the budget for 2024, which has not been obviously reconciled yet, she predicted 2.9. Now, I would have liked to know a couple of years ago that between, let's say 2019 before COVID started was like 1.7. Next year went to 1.9. In 2020, 2021, it bumped up to 2.5 million. 22, 2.6 million. 23, 24, 2.5, 2.6. That's a lot of money. And I don't think people in town were aware of that, and especially how'd you spend it? I'm not saying you didn't spend it wisely, maybe you put some of it in the, emergency fund or rainy day fund or whatever. But I think it would be beneficial to y'all to do some sort of report, 4 color, really fancy, and mail it to everybody so they can see, hey, we did better with sales tax or revenue of this, and a couple of years ago you got $1 million grant from somebody. I think the average person in this town doesn't know that. This is your chance to do it. Because I would have really liked to know a couple of years ago that, hey, we got a couple $200,000 more this year in sales tax revenue. And then next year, we got another $300,000 more in sales tax revenue. And what could you do with it? What could you do to make the town better? All right. Good talking to you.
Thank you.
Go ahead and state your name.
Bradley Hilt, 517 Shadow Knock Drive. I just wanted to congratulate you guys on last weekend. It turned out really well. I understand that we approved the permit for that event with pretty short notice. And I understand that I work in the event space, and when you do things on short notice operationally and administratively, it can create a lot of jams and a lot of last minute things. But I think it went really well. And I think that type of event, I've been to them many times in different towns. I think it really fits the character of Grand Lake. And I think that there's some real substance and like entertainment factor with ski touring, right? That it's something that deserves more effort into the future to continue maybe a long-term relationship with those event organizers. And it's nice to have an event that has such a wow factor that we don't have to like scratch and scramble to try to get people to come to it, right? Because there's something there. We're not creating something out of thin air. There's something real of substance that people want to come see. So we don't have to beg people to come to town. They're going to come. We just make sure that things flow correctly and that everybody's safe, and it turns out really well. So also big kudos to Public Works, because there's a lot of snow around. There's a lot of work. And they're already having to scrape around town. So thank you guys for approving that. I think it went really well. Looking forward to it next year.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Bradley.
Hey,
So I'm here from Granby. And last time I could not really hear on Zoom, so I make it in person. I'm that person who spoke here regarding the recycling. And I'm happy that you have decided to go your own way. Because I did step into the recycling by accident for 3 months, and I got to see what's behind the scene. And what looked like really good fun, and me and Andy had a great fun in the recycling. It was not a good business, and it really caused more damages. If we would do it right, there would be lots of money right now to actually fund the good recycling program. The organization that was behind it did not function as an organization. That means there was no tracking for the receipts. There were lots of cash coming into the buckets as donations. No financials, no website. County founded that organization years ago with $10,000. After 2 years, it fell apart. Volunteers disappeared. They founded a website. It all disappeared. And there was no phone number to it. There was no email. And there was only one volunteer who turned that turn it into the personal hobby. And so there were no filings with the Colorado Secretary of State, little bit slacking on the tax return for the nonprofit. That's a lots of no. And right now there is lots of grants coming to support the recycling programs and organization. It's not in good standing. It doesn't qualify for the grants. Also, we all kind of, including me, have a good belief that we're doing community good when we put some stuff into the recycling bins, and in hope it's getting turned into the product. When they came up with the single stream recycling 2012, I believe, it was something new and everyone thought it works, but no one looked really behind where that product goes. And when I look into it, there was no really market for the recyclable, so it all got shipped into the Asia, China. And the organization, the nonprofit organization, make money on the donations, lots of money. 2018, China stopped shipment from the US, and suddenly Colorado, like any other states, had to deal with the waste. And it ended up in the landfills, and everything was more expensive. So all the money that people put into it suddenly started to disappear. Right now there is an organization that doesn't have a money, doesn't have a person, doesn't have a future. And there is lots of people that believe that what they put in the bin turns into the product, and it's not true. So it will take lots of effort to teach the people what can be done to recycle, because if we do it right, whether it's Granby or Grand Lake, it should divert the waste. Means we pay as a consumers or residents, we pay less for waste because there will be less waste. And maybe we need to a little bit more target the commodity that go into the recycling bins. So start different, start smarter, and start on your own, and always worry where that thing goes before you put it into the bin. Thank you so much for letting me talk. I'll let town of Granby know and my neighbors about the gym, because we don't have a recreation center, and thank you for being so benevolent towards the public comments. In Granby, they would already kick me out of the door if I was. Limit, thank you.
Thank you
Thank you for
very
everything
much.
done.
Yes, thank you for your project and your hard work with that. Do we have any more public comments? No way you guys are here. Okay. Thank you very much. We do enjoy the comments every time, and we take them to heart very much. So thank you guys. Next, we're moving on to the consent agenda. This is where the board considers tasks that are of a regular nature for record-keeping purposes. If a board member wishes to consider any of these items individually, that is appropriate to do so now. I'll entertain action or questions on the consent agenda.
Mayor, if I might, just to make a comment on the accounts payable. We did attach some of the notable expenses that are being paid in this particular AP. I'd also like to make a comment that I recently sent you a copy of our financials that ended at the end of January. Our programs, Cassell, and one of our banks still, the transition to getting user access to all of our accounts for all of our financial people has been kind of a challenge. And it's taken us 2.5 weeks in order for our consulting treasurer to be able to get access, and also to be able to have the ability to be able to even pull down our documentation. That's been resolved, and you'll each have a 20-page original draft, and at the next meeting, I'll be providing you with the official draft of both January and February financials. But I did want to put it in front of you and let you know that our revenues were really quite good for January. And we're going to continue moving in that direction.
Any specific questions on consent agenda?
I do have, they're kind of petty, but I noticed that we're giving a couple refunds back on the short-term rentals. I was wondering what the conditions on that were.
That were on short-term rental licenses?
Yes.
It could have been double paid, but I'll find
Oh,
out for
okay.
you.
There was 2 of them. I didn't know if they were double pay, because we don't refund if they cancel, if they
No.
sell their house or anything.
I believe that those refunds were for people that Civic Plus was set up incorrectly, and they were being charged $165 for the registration fee again, and they didn't meet that, so I think that's why
It's
she
double
refunded.
pay. Okay.
And then one other comment, there was a question on the last AP to Perzolo, a $6,800 bill for excavating. I did have the wrong property and when our water superintendent, Dave Johnson, he blanked out too, so it wasn't just me. But there was a main line at the corner of Broadway and Lake, across the street from the two churches, right on the corner and across from the Rocky Mountain Rep Theater. We were losing a lot of water, and when we couldn't find it, we knew over the New Year's, we saw water bubbling there, but we couldn't find it. We tested it. It didn't have any chlorine in it, until Matt Sloter went 4 feet into water, and then we found it. What apparently happened when that water line was built, there was a rock in the way. So they decided to make 90-degree bends to kind of bend around the rock. Over
Like
30 years, it broke.
Okay.
That was just clarification of where that job went.
Because I didn't have a good answer for you the last time.
There was 2 different documents sent for the accounts payable. One listed the notable expenditures and said paying 101,000. But when you go to the long list here, the very bottom says grand total 37.
That was the.
Which one?
What notables?
Got it.
The bottom of the fine line, 37,470. But the notable expenditures says for March 10, 2025, accounts payable, we are paying 101,000 some dollars and some cents.
I would guess that if I were to look back at last month's AP report, probably 101,000. This AP is for 37,000, and that's what we're writing check.
That sounds more accurate. With that.
There's another $7,000 that will be on the next AP. It's a water department service bill that we're signing a check for today. It's not a regular AP, but in order to get our truck, we have to pay.
Understand?
And I'll make a note with our bookkeeper.
Anything else? I'll entertain action.
I move to approve the consent agenda for March 10th.
May I have a motion?
Okay, he got it.
2 seconds, please pull the board.
Trustee Shoner,
Aye.
trustee Arnston,
Aye.
trustee Miller,
Aye.
trustee Cassell,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Soban,
Aye.
Mayor Berquist.
Aye, motion passes. Moving on to the items for discussion. Tonight we have, excuse me, sorry, a quasi judicial consideration to approve a new hotel and restaurant liquor license. Elena is going to take this. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so we have a new we have a new hotel and restaurant liquor license application received from Taco About It at 712 Grand Avenue. Let's see, the complete application was filed on January 29th, 2025 in my office, and a public hearing was scheduled for today at 6 p.m. in accordance with Colorado State Statute 44.3.311. The town must hold the application for not less than 30 days. This location will be a new hotel and restaurant liquor license as opposed to a transfer of an existing license due to the fact no existing license is in force. Notice of public hearing on this matter was posted on the premises by me on February 21st And publication was made in Middle Park Times. I ran it for 2 weeks in a row on February 26th and March 5th. But both notices were posted at least 10 days prior to the hearing. The applicant is leasing the premises where the proposed liquor license will be utilized from Lone Eagle Lodge. And Victor De Los Santos is the lawful owner of the premises. The neighborhood to be served by the proposed outlet is described as all the area within the town of Grand Lake boundaries. The sale of liquor is not prohibited by municipal zoning regulations applicable to the premises. Applicant's proposed location 712 Grand Avenue is not located within 500 feet of any public, school, or principal campus of any college, university, or seminary, therefore following the state statute. In the 1 year preceding March 10th, 2025, there has not been a denial of an application by either the town of Grand Lake or the state of Colorado for a hotel and restaurant liquor license at the location for the reason there were no applications were received. Within Grand Lake town limits, I have a total of 22 existing liquor licenses. My most common liquor classification is a hotel and restaurant liquor license. And that is on the applicant to decide what license they file for. I cannot offer that up. That is on them to do all that research. Grand County Sheriff's Office and Colorado Bureau of Investigation completed their findings and there was no record found on the applicants. Findings necessary for approval. Number 1, the needs of the neighborhood would be met by the approval of this application as there is not an undue concentration of this type of license in the town. The desires of the adult inhabitants of the neighborhood will be served with the approval of the application. The applicant may be present, testimony, evidence, and or survey toward this point. And 3, the applicant of good moral character and not prohibited from holding the license. Grounds for denial. The state licensing authority shall refuse a state license if the premises on which the applicant proposes to conduct its business do not meet the requirements of this Article 3, or if the character of the applicant or its officers or directors is such that violations of this Article 3 or Article 4 or 5 of this Title 44 would be likely to result if a license were granted, or if in its opinion, licenses already granted for the particular locality are adequate for the reasonable needs of the community. State licensing authority shall not refuse a state license after a local license has been granted, except upon hearing after 15 days notice to the applicant and to the local licensing authority. The notice shall be in writing and shall state grounds upon which the application may be refused. If the applicant does not respond to the notice within 15 days after the notice, the application for a license shall be denied. The hearing shall be conducted in accordance with the provision of section 24.4.105, and judicial review of the state licensing authority's decision shall be pursuant to section 24.4.106. So I'm sure you guys have seen that they have been open and serving food for
3 days.
okay, they're all 3 days. I thought you guys were doing it 3 days. A couple of weeks ago. Yeah. So I do have the applicants here. Do you guys want to go ahead and come up and introduce yourself, and the board has questions? Now's your time.
My name is Jose de los Santos, 712 Grand Avenue, and we asked him to see if you guys approve the liquor license. For what we think we are building in the future, we got already the plans, and hopefully in a couple of weeks we're gonna submit the plans for review. I didn't bring any paper or something, but I will pass my cell phone so you guys can see how it's gonna look on future. And that's the reason we see you guys approve the liquor license for. So I will pass my cell phone. If you guys wanna just pass by. It's cool. This is part of the plans we got this week, and some of the videos that's what we're looking to see in the future.
It's that big.
Pretty much following the snow through the glass. So we're thinking put a glass on the bottom and glass on the top and just open on the summer. And then on the snow season, we're gonna have overall with glass. So that's where we're going that. So we're gonna full renovate the lobby, and we're gonna convert the lobby, the garages, and the restaurant and the bar. So that's our plan. So what do you guys think?
I'm very excited about this. This looks
I
wonderful.
don't need to be open all year round.
Yes, that will be open. This is our plan. That's gonna be open all year around. If you guys let us build or you guys see it on the cell phone, that's gonna allow us to be open and anyone pass by, they're gonna see through what's going on inside. It's gonna be like the Ground Lake View House, pretty much. Yeah. So it's gonna look nice. So we already got approved by the bank. And we got the plans, so we just need to submit it to you guys and you guys can give us the plan of view. And after that, we're ready to start. Hopefully, if we got approval, we're planning to finish by, it would be great to grand opening by July 4th. It would be nice. Yeah, so we're a little bit late right now in the construction, but hopefully we're gonna get it done in a couple months after we have the permission.
That done in a couple months?
It looks like, yeah, we're thinking to work, you guys, I don't know if you guys see us, but we've been working Monday through Sunday, pretty much. And I was thinking to speed up, as soon as I got the plans and approval, we're thinking to have at least 2 crews like working more than 12 hours. So having 2 crews working 8 hours in the morning and 8 hours in the night, it's very important for us to finish in this year. So we can catch a little bit of the season. Otherwise, we're gonna spend more time and see with.
What kind of hours are you gonna run?
We were thinking in the morning serving breakfast, because this is something I see as well, like in the morning, everybody's wake up, go to work and nothing is open until 9. And we're thinking to be around midnight, everyone's closed after 10.
Yep.
So we wanna be, and then we wanna offer delivery as well. So we want to offer delivery in the morning for breakfast. Whoever want breakfast, they're lazy to get to the town. And in the night, we're trying to offer delivery as well. So I think we're gonna be the only ones.
Yes,
Yeah.
good.
So that's what we're trying to do, so to be all year open.
Excellent. Thank you for telling us all that.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions specifically?
So with the business, Taco about it, is that the food truck or you envision that being the name of the new restaurant and this kind of building up to that?
Well, we're thinking that is the name of the restaurant, but we're just thinking, I think the Grand Lake View House or something like that would looks really nice.
Yeah.
So I don't know, we're designing, but Taco Body for now is the name of the restaurant and the bar. So that's what we're thinking.
Okay.
And then the other thing, we're doing a lot of updates to the rooms. We're making the rooms nicer, upgrading all of them. So that's another thing we're doing in that, so. We want to offer a good stay, good food and good ambience. Yeah, I want people to be there. Another thing is gonna help the downtown to extend it to that side. So. Gonna help a lot.
You doing nightly rentals on the rooms?
Excuse me?
What kind of rentals are you doing? Nightly, weekly?
Daily.
Daily?
They rent through the Expedia. We've been booked for weeks
Okay.
on the weekends and we have some good reviews as well. So that's why we're trying to upgrade all the rooms, make it nicer, newer in the inside. So, yeah.
We like your energy and your creativity very much. Thank you.
I'm trying to.
Thank you.
Something else? Question?
Any questions?
No.
Take action.
Last-
All right.
no.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anything? What do you have? Well, this is
There should be suggested
Yeah.
motion on page.
on the first page.
This one?
Sorry, page 19.
We have suggested motions right there.
When-
So I'll entertain action.
I have one question.
Yes.
And that's why I asked about whether the food truck turns into the business is the transfer of liquor licenses as we change names and ownership. It gets a little messy. I don't want you guys,
Oh, yeah.
if,
It's all set up on the same name, so it's gonna be the same name on the businesses.
okay,
And we already got set up the commissary kitchen, which it was one of the requirements. So we're thinking in the future to have the kitchen inside and then to have the trailer just for grab and go food. I see a lot of guys hiking and all that. They just want to grab something and check out. So that's the reason we're trying to use in future the food truck on that. And then we're gonna be serving food on the inside, like big place. Right now it's just tacos, hot dogs, quesadillas, stuff like that. But in future, we're trying to bring like more different places, stuff like that for the restaurant.
Yeah, if you guys do open the restaurant, keep in mind, we don't host them, but we have concerts down by the lake and stuff like that where
Yeah,
those event organizers are looking for vendors. So if you can pick up the truck and take it down there, serve Grand Lake food, that's what we're looking for. Because usually those food trucks have to come out of town
right.
and Denver and stuff like that. And we prefer that, local restaurants be producing the food for these events. So, think about that as stuff develops for you guys there, with that, so.
Ski drawing down there.
This is what we're thinking, since we got the commercial kitchen and we got the food truck, and we're gonna have the restaurant. We're thinking to expand it and open another food trucks, I don't know. Close to another exit to the Grand Lake and Granby, and stuff like that, so what's. It's gonna be in the future, right now, we just wanna finish with the front deck and make it look nicer, so people like coming in, or at least they wanna come from Granby or from Winter Park, just to see this place, so.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And I know you're in a rush to get this done, so make sure you guys got some great plans here. We run into a lot of issues where stuff gets slowed down because your design does not meet our requirements with the
Right.
town. So before you get official plans, I know architecture will cost a lot of money, but if you're on this strict timeline, make sure you are up to the level with our code, because if we say, no, you can't do this, and it's gonna be 2 weeks and 2 weeks, and it really does delay the process when it comes to that.
The good thing with us is that we have inside architect.
That's perfect.
So, any change we need to do it like right away, we can just change it in hours the next day. So pretty much we can have the part very review, and hopefully we're gonna go by, because that's why I want to submit my plans, and any changes I have to do, I can work on it so I can speed up my process.
Yeah. Just
Excellent.
Keep ideas of the materials and colors that we approve and stuff like that.
I was thinking, from the exterior, like a wood looking. I was thinking metal and then pour it down with wood, so it can look the whole thing like wood and glass. That's what I'm thinking. I think that's allowed, like wood, right?
All the wood you can have, yeah.
All right, perfect. Yeah,
Thank
guys
you
will
for
say.
sharing all that with us. I would entertain action on this item. Oh, that's the one.
You want to do it?
Go ahead,
Okay. I would like to make the motion to approve the new hotel and restaurant liquor license application from Taco About Inc., DBA Taco About It, located at 712 Grand Avenue.
I have a motion
second.
and a second. Please poll the board.
Trustee Armstrong,
Aye.
trustee Shoner,
Aye.
trustee Casso,
Aye.
trustee Miller,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Soban,
Aye.
Mayor Berquist.
Aye. Motion passes. You have your permit. We're very excited to have you. Look forward to seeing what you do, and stay in touch with the girls. They can direct you to whoever you need for building the rest of your building. Thank you, guys.
Keep in mind, those liquor licenses outside of us, the state, take a long time. So don't be waiting for a liquor license to open this possible restaurant, because it might take longer
That's why we
than.
started. The
Right?
state's literally getting back to me within a week, so that's why I was like, let's just go ahead and sneak it in now before summer hits and then.
Yeah.
Probably happen, so.
Okay.
it should be
All right. Thank you. Let's move on to B, consideration to approve resolution 19-2025, approving a distracted driving policy for town employees.
Thank you all. Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
Me again, sorry guys. Okay. The purpose of this memo is to outline the new distracted driving policy, which would be added to the Town of Grand Lake Safety Manual. This policy has been reviewed by CIRSA and our town attorney, Dan Kropp, and is intended to enhance safety and compliance with Colorado's driving law. Beginning January 1st, 2025, the distracted driving law establishes specific regulations regarding the use of mobile electronic devices while driving. The law aims to reduce distracted driving incidents, thereby improving road safety for all residents and visitors of Grand Lake. Key points of the new law, and this is for everyone who drives a vehicle, it's not just our employees. So, mobile device.
This policy is, sorry, this
Yeah,
policy
well,
is for.
this is the law, this is for anyone.
Yeah,
driving
no, I get
period,
that.
But this is for, the policy is for employees, but I'm.
Being a
just telling you
trustee, you
guys,
have
This is a
to.
good thing for yourself, so you guys know the law in your personal lives.
Thank you,
You're welcome.
Miss
Right.
Carol.
So drivers are not permitted to hold or manually use mobile devices for any purpose, including voice calls. Hands-free accessories are allowed, such as Bluetooth headsets, dashboard mounts, CarPlay, Android Auto, and car speakerphone systems. Exceptions. Individuals reporting emergencies, utility workers, code enforcement officers, animal protection officers, first responders, and those parked in or those parked vehicles are exempt from the law. The law does not apply to individuals with a commercial driver's license operating a commercial vehicle. There are penalties for non-compliance. First offense, $75 fine and 2 license suspension points. Repeat offenses, increased fines and additional license points. And first-time violators can dismiss the charge by proving the purchase of a hands-free device. So just don't do it. You won't have to do that at all. Hands-free accessories provide viable solutions that allow drivers to stay connected without compromising their attention to the road. Benefits of hand-free accessories. By adopting hands-free accessories, you can avoid legal penalties associated with distracted driving. Keep your focus on the road, enhancing safety for yourself and others. Stay connected and informed without compromising your attention while driving. The addition of this policy to our safety manual is a proactive step towards ensuring the safety of our community. It is essential that all employees and residents are aware of these regulations and adhere to them to minimize risks associated with distracted driving. I spoke with Matt, there are a couple trucks that we do have that already have Bluetooth capabilities, so we're really not worried about that. But we will be getting the guys Bluetooth devices, for when they're driving around. Any questions for me?
So
How much of this is different from the actual law?
This is the law,
So what's the purpose of instituting this policy and making it official?
because it's recommended by CIRSA that we have it in our safety.
For our insurance
It's
purposes.
like saying you have to wear a seatbelt. It has to be in our safety manual, but it's also the law.
That's what I was wondering, it was like.
Yeah, and that old one, that old policy I brought to you guys last time was like, oh yeah, you can drive and, do this and do that, put your makeup on. No, we're not doing that. So I just completely scratched the whole thing and just started all over with it.
So how many Bluetooth devices are you gonna have to buy?
Just for the guys, so probably maybe 5.
Only 5?
Or
Oh,
whoever drives a town vehicle, whoever actually needs one. But right now my count's like 4.
okay.
So
And Madam Mayor, there's
along
just a couple comments on this.
the lines of where does this play out in relation with Colorado state laws? It says, penalties for non-compliance on your first offense. How are we defining that?
So
Who is catching them? And how are we as a town going to put 2 points on their license if we're not pulling them over with the sheriff?
we cannot enforce that. That's if they get caught
Just
by
for
law
the-
enforcement.
Yeah,
We cannot enforce that, but if they were to get pulled over in a town vehicle and get written up for that, then that would be their penalty.
Thank you.
For that. Then
So
on our end, they could be written up.
So we're not giving our
No.
town enforcement some
No.
That's in their.
I guess along those lines, if we are instituting this policy, is it generally up to, because mainly this is gonna be the public works guys. Is it generally up to Matt to enforce? Like, so if he catches them driving, I'm assuming that he's not calling the cops and it's gonna,
No, it'll be.
it will be,
internal, right?
okay.
Proper internal procedure, but.
Yeah, as long as this doesn't roll like straight through, I feel like if the.
No. That's just the penalties.
None of our guys that have a driver's license after 6 months.
That's why they're all getting headsets.
Mr. Krob, we see you on the screen. Do you have anything to add for us?
No, just to sort of clarify what you were
I
talking
think
about.
you're, hold on one second. We need some volume on our end. Okay, testing.
Yeah, I mean, they're really sort of two related but slightly different things at work here. One is your personnel policies, and what you're doing tonight is adding to your personnel policies to make it an act of misconduct as an employee to do any of these things, like to operate a vehicle without a hands-free device. And your personnel policy is actually a little bit broader than the state statute. It also, according to the memo here, includes reading a newspaper or personal grooming while you're driving. So if you did any of those things that violated the state policy, the state statute, or these policies, then the consequence there, as you mentioned, is to be disciplined as an employee. Although it's the same actions, it is a separate realm really for what the state statute does. And the state statute makes it a traffic violation to do this. So traffic, personnel policies are enforced by supervisors. Traffic offenses are enforced by your local police officers. So they're the only ones that can write you the ticket for as a traffic offense, to put the points on your license, to give you the fine. And they also can't do it as just a standalone offense. There has to be some other basis to stop you other than just the distracted driving. So like careless driving or weaving or speeding or something like that. But it doesn't have to be much. But so you have the state statute that's enforced through the police. You now have, or you will have, a personnel policy that's enforced by your supervisors.
Any questions for Scott?
Scott, I was just curious, is there an insurance impact to us having or not having this resolution?
Well, Elena may be able to
Policy.
address that better than I can, but since this came from CIRSA, I think that you may not save anything by putting it into place, but it probably helps your rating and avoids an increase by putting it into place.
Yes, so when we do our audit every year, we go through everything very, very thoroughly, including all of our policy manuals and handbooks. And this is why I brought the safety manual before you guys the last meeting, because we have our audit in June, middle of June. And I'm trying to get all of our ducks in a row, so when they come, everything's updated to 2025, not from 2007. Which I will also be bringing you guys the employee manual as well with a bunch of revisions, so everything's tied in together with safety manual and everything that needs. Any other questions?
I will entertain action on this item, please.
I motion to approve resolution 19-2025, approving a distracted driving policy for town employees.
Second.
Please pull the board.
Trustee Cassell,
Aye.
trustee Shoner,
Aye.
trustee Armstrong,
Aye.
trustee Miller,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Sylvan,
Aye.
Mayor Berquist.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Moving on, thank you, Elena, for both of those. Moving on now, consideration of resolution 20-2025, authorizing cash accounts and safe deposit box signers.
At the last Board of Trustees meeting held on February 21st, 4th, several changes were made to leadership and management of the town of Grand Lake. As a result, some changes are needed to the signers and authorized users with United Business Bank. The following changes are required as a result. All of the town of Grand Lake's bank accounts require 2 signers. We'd like to make the change to the bank account signers: Christina Berquist, Mayor; Michael Soban, Mayor Pro Tem; Michael Arnston, Financial Trustee; and Stefan Kudron, Town Manager. The safety deposit box signers will be Stefan Kudron, Town Manager; Christina Berquist, Mayor; and Elena Carroll, Clerk. Alyssa Jackson, the bookkeeper, and Nicole Kirkpatrick, contract treasurer, will have authority to access financial account information and perform online banking needs, but not money movement.
Any questions for the manager? I would entertain action on this item.
Move to approve resolution 2025, authorizing cash account and safety deposit box. Fire.
Second.
A motion and a second, please pull the board.
Trustee Miller,
Aye.
trustee Armstrong,
Aye.
trustee Shoner,
Aye.
trustee Casso,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Sobon,
Aye.
Mayor Berquist.
Aye, motion passes. At this time, our items for discussion are concluded. We have future items for consideration for the town manager. Anything anyone would like to address?
As the taco about it, people came in, I went through my notes and looked back to when they applied for their special use permit. That special use permit for the food truck did expire on Christmas Day, 2024, so they plan on.
It's been reissued because there were no complaints or adverse actions on the first permit. We were able to renew it administratively.
That.
Good catch.
I knew it was random.
Anyone else have anything?
December was.
We will be bringing you a variance request for a boat slip located at 300 Lakeside Drive. Monday, the 24th will also be the beginning of our audit. And for the workshop, we'll be having a code enforcement update. Brian will let you know kind of what he's been doing, what the impacts are, and kind of what our plans are moving forward. And we'll be doing the ski tour debrief
Just those two items for the.
so far.
I have a liquor license for the chili cook-off. And I don't think I'll bring any policies
Is this
up to this next time.
Different variance request for 300?
It's a different slip. Yes. It's a new slip than what was presented 2.5 years ago. Correct. Correct.
Did you say
really?
Ruger? Did you say Ruger too?
No, the Ruger annexation has been posted, so it'll also be on. And what'll be happening with the annexation at the last meeting, you started the process by accepting the application, and the planning commission will be reviewing it prior to the board meeting to provide a recommendation for the zoning that is being proposed. And then that recommendation will move forward to you.
And the items of discussion at last week's planning commission meeting regarding the design standards, are we taking action on anything? I know we didn't really.
The outcome of that is to have a joint session.
Okay, that's right. Yes.
And that we can discuss with you guys. That'll be an extra plan on that being at least 1.5 to 2 hours of discussion with the planning commission. What we would probably like to do is to start our workshop a little bit early. And to have that, we can either schedule it for the 24th or the meeting after that, which I think is March 13th.
April.
April. 14th. You have a preference? Bring it up on the 24th?
Fine with me. I mean, you guys saw those designs in hand there a little bit, just to get an idea.
I will bring it forth with the planning commission and schedule that for you. That's all I have.
The only other thing I had was let's continue the conversation, dates for retreat.
At shop included.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
with the hat shop
The hat
included.
shop. Shop.
One of the comments you made about, new branding logo colors. Staff would love to see us get like your primary and secondary fonts. So whatever that font work that is done on those logos, we'd like to be able to start using that on things like letterhead and the signatures and just anything that we do with Grand Lake that doesn't necessarily have a logo.
Style guide.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's do that.
That's right up your alley.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
That's the right way to do it, isn't
Head
it?
of branding.
Yeah. Drives me nuts going around and seeing nothing matching. Drives me.
Oh, me
nuts.
too.
Yes, ma'am.
Does Ayers and Associates take care of our planning related grants?
So the local planning capacity grant, is Antero, and I met with them. We have 3 specific outcomes, and we'll be coming to you with a plan on that shortly as well. Some of that is hiring an in-house planner and then developing, coming out of the joint meeting, as well as with the Space to Create project, what are the code changes that are prioritized in order for us to achieve the town's goal of building an apartment building that we can ribbon cut Buffalo Days 2026. So if we need to fast track things to the planning commission and to the board, what are the things that our code allows for us to do with affordable housing and doesn't allow us to do with affordable housing? And we want to present those changes to make sure that future affordable housing projects that come before us don't take several years, that it can really get built. Because there's urgency, and that's what Prop 123 talks about.
Yeah, thank you for that. I was kind of noting on the grant that we applied for Portal Road with regards to centering up on the right of way.
Yeah.
Any updates that Kim told me to stay on top of you for it, so here I am staying on top of it.
It's kind of interesting because that fits into the state and CDOT's transportation ask, but I will follow up and have an answer for you on the status of that particular grant.
Thank you.
I do know that the Smart Water grant that was denied, that we have the $1.4 million to do that was our 25% match. I was able to meet with the engineer last week, and I met this morning with Megan Ledeen at the Grand Foundation, who also administers the Windy Gap Fund, that we are hoping to get 60 to 75% of that project completion just with the Windy Gap match dollars. So we'll be meeting with them in the next couple of weeks to give them a revised scope. The engineer's working on that right now.
That'd be a 26 thing.
Maybe get it done this summer. Some of that work is focused on Little Columbine Creek. So what are some of those water diversion plans? One of the questions that was asked is how much could our Public Works Department provide with support dollars? For instance, do they know how to put in culverts? And I'm like, yep, they practiced. They did 3 of them last summer, because those are ways that if we could allocate some of our public works resources, that will be leveraged dollars to be able to get more of the project done. And the second phase was looking at the swales down along the flats behind the school, because that does a lot of filtration. Cleaning up the 3 sites down Woodpecker Hill would probably be the third priority, because the ditch helps, other than it traps a car or 2 every winter, because people don't drive up with 4-wheel drive or snow tires and chains like they're told to, so they slide into the back of the orange sign that says, don't drive up the hill. And they send a very nice letter. They had a great time in town. Sorry that they slid onto the side of the road. I do.
There's been a couple this year.
All that to say that I'll be bringing you kind of a revised scope and see how much of that we can get done They were also pretty excited when I told them that we happen to have an entire construction crew that's building a road starting in October. So that type of equipment, if we can save mobilization costs by piggybacking on that, we've already got mobilization costs to Grand Lake accounted for. So if we could get some of that work in before the October completion date, it would be really cool.
Are we getting any interest in the open trustee position?
I've not seen anything.
And that,
Tell your friends.
and that expires when?
April, I can't remember the date off the top of my head. We have time.
Okay.
We have a hot minute.
You got two of them that were here that said they were residents.
Mm-hmm.
They even gave you addresses. Stick a note in between their screen door and the main door. We want you.
I'll mail out letters to everybody.
Not sure exactly who you're talking
That's
about. Let's be careful.
Yes.
Mayor's report, may I? I feel bad, and to be perfectly honest, I had wanted to kind of talk about this being my first meeting and have all this organized verbiage for you guys of what I hope this next year would be like, and I failed because I was having an amazing weekend at ski touring. And I've thanked everybody. I don't know how many times I spoke this weekend, and it was such an honor personally too, because I've wanted ski touring for a long time. And to have it just kind of fall in our laps was just an amazing thing, a huge blessing for our community, our town, to have them come to us. And they were extremely happy. I know the competitors were grateful, thankful. They loved our town, kept talking to people about how nice we were and friendly we were and welcoming. And they gave me examples of other towns where they didn't feel as received and welcomed as they were here. And that means a lot. I had a couple of people make comments that people were more friendly than they are on the 4th of July. I think this was a great event. It does, as we heard earlier tonight, kind of represent the old Grand Lake with the horses and that kind of cowboy life. And just to say, I'm thankful for staff, Public Works, of course, Matt, Mike, and Delphine, the ski touring community, the board, everyone. Made my job and really fun and exciting this weekend. So I'm going to keep that in my pocket for the days that are that are rough and people are mad at me because this weekend was great. And I think it's not the beginning of the year, but it is the end of the winter event season. We ended it amazing. I think we're off to a good start with everything from here on out. So that's all I have for tonight. Thanks. I'd entertain one last action.
Make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. Please poll the board.
Favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Sophie.
Scott.
Thanks, guys.